Dude, what's up, everybody? Dan Greer, Eclipse DOT, coming at you to chat all about in-house management of DQ files. Okay, so I'm a huge proponent of in-house management of DQ files, but I'm also a huge proponent. That means like I'm in favor of, of having the right tools in place. Now, I got to tell you the story. So, like, whenever I was younger, I decided I was going to change a transmission on one of my trucks. Transmission went out, and I was like, oh, hey, I'll just do it myself. My dad's a mechanic, my brother's a mechanic. I can totally do this myself. I'm not a mechanic. I learned that. I have the knowledge. I know righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. I know bolts. But I figured out that, like, changing the transmission really isn't that hard. But what would have taken them several hours to do, I've talked to a lot of people, and they're like, oh, transmissions you can swap out in like 4 hours in a truck like that. It's like a little Ford Ranger. It took me like 3 weeks. And you know why it took me 3 weeks? One, because I worked on like 4 hours a night. But two, because I didn't have the right tools, right? So I had 2 bolts on the top of the bell housing, like where that I couldn't get to. And I tried to get to them from the top, and it's like I'm not a contortionist. I'm kind of fat, if you haven't figured that out. Got big old fat sausage fingers, and like my arms are big, so I'd like stick them in there and they'd be all cut up and bloody and stuff like that. And then so one day I was like, oh, fine, I'm just gonna ask my brother for help. I'd be like, hey dude, how do I get the bolts off the top of that thing? So I called him. I was like, hey dude, how do I get the bolts off the top of that transmission? And he's like, well, man, you gotta have like 2 different wobble joints and 3 extensions, and you put them together and you just put it on there and you crank on it just a little bit and they'll come right out. And I was like, 2 extensions, 3 wobble joints? Really? That's all it takes? He's like, yeah, that's all it takes. So I went down, I bought a couple wobble joints, and I bought a couple more extensions, and I put it on there, and it was like 10 minutes, the bolts were out, because I had the right tools. But until I had the right tools, I couldn't get them out. I fought with them for like literally a week and a half. After that, the transmission only took me like another 3 hours. I got stabbed the same night. So it was like such a pain in the butt because I didn't have the right tools. And as soon as I got the right tools, it was like super simple. DOT compliance is the same thing. When y'all are trying to do this without the right tools, without the right processes, there's nothing wrong with doing it in-house. I love it. I'm a huge proponent of it. Like I said, I think that you should do it in-house. I got no issues with that at all. But if you don't have the right tools, it's like impossible to do it right. Right? Think about this. If I want to take off a wheel and all I have is a little itty bitty wrench, all I have is a stubby, I'm not going to be able to take off that wheel. As easy as if I have an impact, either electric or air operated, right? And it's jacked up. Right? Do you see what I'm saying? Like, it's so much more work to do it with a stubby wrench. Isn't it possible? No. You can do DOT compliance with spreadsheets. Yeah, you can do that. I did it for years with thousands of drivers. For reals. Totally managed. Didn't have any issues. That's all I did all day long was DOT compliance. That's all I did all day was driver files. That's all I did was managing 1,000 drivers all day, every day. I didn't have time for anything else. Right? And they're like, oh, we need a permit. I was like, oh, crap, what do I do? So I'd fire off emails. Like, I was hooked up all day long, right? Because I was working off of antiquated ways. But that's why we build docs. That's why it's theirs, because it's like a tool. It's like it's upgrading from a freaking rock, right, to pounded nails to like a nail gun, right? Crazy. Why wouldn't you get a nail gun? It costs very little in the long run. And once you've got it, once you figured out how to use it, it's so easy to use. So I just want to talk a little bit about in-house and management, file management for DQ files. Like, if you guys are doing it in-house, all the power to you. But get the right processes, get the right tools in place to help you get there. So enlist some advice from an expert so you don't have to learn all the mistakes that I learned as I learned them. All right. Hope that helps. Remember, get some help from somebody who knows what the heck they're doing. All it took was a phone call from my brother, and I had the transmission done in like 4 hours. Whereas I'd spent like a week and a half on it for that. Time is money. All right. Chat with you guys later.